All right. So I have not been streaming for I think 3 days. I had this really weird shoulder and neck pain, probably from sitting down way too long. Probably from, uh, you know, being hunched over, working on my game for hours and hours. I still have a little bit of pain right now on my neck. I also tried changing a pillow. I think that might also have something to do with it. But anyways, I'm somewhat okay now, and I did take a short break, but I added a few more stuff like splines for the sidewalk, and I also think in terms with the Asian sidewalk, usually in something like a Korean alley, you would have one car that's parked, and that would only give you enough space for another car to barely pass by. So today I'm gonna be working with more splines, build the other side of the alley, or maybe have a full sidewalk around an entire block. Maybe I might also have buildings here. I don't know, I'll see what I can do. Hello, Frost, GameDev, and Mr. Watermeal. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Oh, Mr. Watermeal says, yo, do you think raising your monitor would help? The top of my monitor is somewhere at my eye level. I heard that's good somewhere. I don't know. But I've been having back problems since I was little. I mean, because I sit down for way too long. And you know the typical Asian parent that wants you to go to college and get a white collar job and all this stuff? I received that since I was like 2 or 3. Sit down and read a book all day. So I did enjoy playing sports. I did enjoy playing basketball, and I did enjoy swimming. But most of the time, I was sitting down at home, being forced to read a book. So it's pretty permanent at this point. I do try taking, well, not taking. I do try stretching a lot. Maybe going for a jog. You know, it's been getting worse recently, just because I've just been working so many hours on my game. I don't know. Frost GameDev says, by the way, which spline tool are you using? Let me check my well, let me go to the Unity asset store. Because there's an asset that I bought. It was somewhere near the top of the result. Here, it's called DreamTech Splines. There was also a free spline, which wasn't that good, but was okay. So I tried 2 so far. And obviously the paid one is going to be much better, but it's only $30, so... The DreamTech... Very simple. The documentation isn't that good, but it's also not that difficult to figure out. So if you're interested, you might want to check it out. Let me also get let me also upload the post for my blockchain blog. Not my blockchain, but just a blockchain solution that I use almost every day. Let me get this going. Frost Game Dev says you should get up every 40 minutes and stretch for 30 seconds and walk a bit. It really helps. Yeah, I should. The problem is, once I sit down and focus, I I focus for like a few hours at least. When I can't figure something out, I just gotta sit down and work on it. And thanks, Mr. Watermeal. I did add a few more things. I did add a few more things to the what do you call this? The level, the map. And more things are coming. So here is a preview of what I've been doing recently. I hope you guys like it. And let me also open up my cat window in my other computer. Yeah, Frost GameDev says, "Oh yes, DreamTech Spline is awesome." Yeah, I used it for the first time last night. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed using it. Works pretty well, at least so far. I'm only using it to build meshes. So, here, let me, where's the test stage? So for something like this, for those who don't know what a spline is, this is coming from a straight sidewalk model. So the sidewalk looks like this. You're using this to come up with a road, a sidewalk. And right now this is a circle, but you can put it into whatever shape you want, whatever line, shape. And then you can export it, so it's like a little mesh render on its own. I don't like having to use the mesh collider. I emailed the author of the Japanese Street. I emailed the author asking if he's got something that I could use to build a 90-degree angle sidewalk. Because the asset only had this. And which is fine. You can use a spline to create an actual road. But in terms of optimization, that might not be such a good idea. It would be nice if there's an actual model that I could use and just use boxes as colliders. But splines is okay too. Yeah, thanks, Frost GameDev. So, today, either during stream or after live stream, just gotta continue working on the level design. It's taking way longer than I hoped. Even though I'm just placing these objects, I didn't create any of them. I bought the 3D models and then I'm placing them in my own level, but that alone will take a lot of time. At least if you're taking your level seriously, if you want it to look good, and obviously these visuals play an important role in deciding the direction of your game, as well as it's fused with game design and everything else. So for all indie game developers out there, don't be surprised if these things are taking a long time. So Here, I might do this live. Let's see if I can do it live. During live stream, I lose a bit of focus, but I hope this works. So let's try creating a brand new spline. Spline computer, I think. And I can add a bunch of splines, for example. Okay. I don't want this to update. Draw thickness. Looks like it. And I believe I can add a mesh render, or what was it called? Line mesh. I think this is it. Channel 1. Gonna use the sidewalk. There we go. Let's also add B or A. Okay. So we've got the sidewalk going. Where's the rotation? Oh, not this way. It should be able to this is facing the wrong way. Right, so here's a sidewalk. You want to connect it here, not here. Forgot where the option was for that. This is a horizontal rotation. I want a vertical rotation, and I forgot where. Oh, there we go. I think this is it. There we go. So 90. Good. I'd also want to change scale here. Already that looks much better. It looks like an actual thing, except I gotta shape this right. Wonder if I can place the splines in a straight line, maybe. Well, let me get rid of the existing road. Won't need it anymore. Where's the where did the points go? There we go. I wonder if I just gotta do this by hand. Huh. Oh, and where's the Why? Remember there was another option. Yeah, uniform. Oh, I should be going this way. Okay. So I'm going this way. Guess I could make them straight later. Something like this. And I would just make a complete circle around this entire block, I guess. We also consider the size, roughly the size of the building that's going to be on the back side. The other side of the street. Make a complete circle. I believe I can close this. Yep. So already we've got a nice little street going here. Obviously the shape isn't perfect. But those things, little details can be done, obviously. I guess should be all the way out here. You also, where's the road? Get rid of this for now. Initially, I planned this to be somewhere near the car, like this. Imaginia says, hi, this is the sky influencing the lighting like an HDRI or something? If yes, I'm curious how it's set up. Okay. Let me just... Okay, I'll talk about it now. Hold on. How do I get this out of the way? So this is HDRP. The first thing you want to do is go through the documentations and videos regarding HDRP. Because there's a lot of options. It's not just the sky. Sky is part of it. So if I look at the sky and volume settings, there's so many post-processing effects that contribute to the lighting. Obviously, we've got the sky, HDRI sky. We've got the fog. Exposure. I mean, just by changing the exposure, you can... So you can already see the massive difference. Where's the sky? Again, I also have exposure here coming from the sky. 1.75 right now. So if I change that, everything sort of turns bluish. And if I go too far, you know, it's just too bright. So we have color sipping in. Like, I don't know how to describe this, but there is color coming from the blue sky. You can control that. You can also use fog to cover it up or block light from coming in. Looks like I forgot to set. You can also set the distance. So if the fog distance is really close, it doesn't even matter what sky you have because the fog is so thick. Right, as you clear the fog a little bit, right, you can get more visuals for the distance. So you control these little things. And depending on the fog, you also get this little nice volumetric lighting, which I really like. Set this probably 180, 200. 200 might be too much. 190. I'll stick with 190 for now. Game developer, welcome. Game developer says, how much FPS do you get? I haven't done a full test. Right now I'm doing QHD. You can see the resolution here. This is somewhere between 4K and HD. I think 4K is pushing it too far. Most people probably don't have a good enough gaming rig to run this at 4K. But I think QHD, I can probably run this right now at somewhere over 100 frames per second, I would say. But my machine is pretty good. It's decent. I'm using GTX 180, I think. It was really expensive back in the day. Maybe I shouldn't say back in the day. Back in the day sounds a little too long ago, but I have a decent gaming rig, so I can definitely handle this pretty well. So I'm not worried too much about the frame rate at the moment. But later I plan on optimizing with things like Mesh Baker. I also want to optimize the textures, you know, all those little things. I also have to optimize the code itself. And so hopefully people can run this reasonably well in QHD. So QHD is my target right now. John Douglas, welcome. Out of the blue question, in regards to your Sky, would that be HDRI or procedural? It's HDRI. So the literal option is HDRI Sky, but you might also wonder, where did I get it? You know, just Google HDRI Sky, and you'll find a bunch of results. There's a bunch of free HDRI Skies. You know, there's a lot of them. This kind of looks interesting to me. And this, I like dark lighting, but I don't want it to be completely dark, as in midnight dark. I want it more like dusk, or really early in the morning when the sunrise or sunset, basically. The very early part of sunrise or the very end of sunset, where you get a little bit of lighting. You get a little bit of ambience. I'm not sure ambience is the word, but you get a little bit of light coming from the sky. Plus, but it's still dark. You also and then you also have the street lamps, the street signs, the neon lights and stuff. I really like that look, and that's what I'm going for. So I downloaded a bunch of Japanese streets photos. This is a little too light, but this is a cartoony drawing. This might be a little too dark for me, but I hope you get the idea. Imaginia, I'm sorry if I can't pronounce your name. These setups come from the post-processing in package manager. Well, today pretty much everything comes from the package manager. Everything that's built in. But if you're using HDRP, the default HDRP template and the default project. Here. So if you start Unity Hub, if you create a brand new HDRP project, here, HDRP, I don't think you have to download anything. The Sky, all these settings are there by default. Okay, let me try creating one right now, because I haven't created a brand new project in a while. So, brand new HDRP. I'm gonna create this. I believe you're gonna get this by default, but let me just create it, just to show you. I want to say most of the lighting, the post-processing, for HDRP, they're there by default. But let me just make sure by creating a new project. I really like HDRP lighting. Let me try to get Soul Street Alley. This might look a little too ghetto, but something like this. I also want it night. So this is way too dark. So this has got a little bit of lighting. But this is a typical cyberpunk. This is Japan, I think. Wait, this looks like Seoul. Hmm. So here's typical Seoul. Another typical Seoul. I really like the cyberpunk look. Here, this is pretty much the street I grew up in. All these neon. This is too much, but I hope you get the idea. And it's also too dark right now. So if I go for something like dusk, now we get too much lighting, but yeah. And HDRP allows you to get subtle lighting settings like this. So this looks kind of close. So the sun's going down. I would want this to be darker. Maybe something like this. The picture's too small. Something like this. And these kind of subtle lighting is really hard to do in URP or BRP. Is it BRP, built-in render pipeline? The traditional render pipeline. Again, it's really hard to point to one thing that gives you this general look. There's also the glow. What do you call this? Emissive lighting. So here's some emissive lighting. Where's the emissive lighting? So right now intensity is 100. If I bring this up, then you can see that it's shiny, the sushi sign. Maybe 500? Yeah, 100 was a little too small or too low. Let me also try looking at the emissive lighting here. Where's the blue light? Blue. Oh shit, what did I do? I clicked on something. So let me make this 500. Yeah, 500 looks about right. And also this. This is good. So all these little subtle things that makes things either glow or, you know, reflect or create shadows or create volumetric fog. All these little things attribute to the general mood, and HDRP has a lot of details that you can play around with, which is why I like it. But at the same time, it's really difficult to just get the right numbers that you exactly want. It took me a long time to get this, and obviously for your game you might want something different, which will require you to go through so many little different settings to figure out what you want and figure out how to do it. Sherman, welcome. Oh wait, Sherman, the author. Sherman says, hello, I am the author of the Japanese City Asset. I was curious about your studio, so I hope you don't mind me dropping by. Thanks for using my pack. Oh, I don't mind at all. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I was just talking about your asset. I was talking about, if you're still here, the corner street. So right now I'm using a spline, which is fine, but it's not really a good choice from a programmer's perspective in regards to optimizing. So I don't want mesh colliders, which I would probably have to use. So I'm no longer using the free spline anymore. I'm using a $30 spline from DreamTech. Really nice. And obviously this is not done yet, but so where's the okay, I guess Guess the mesh collider isn't there. Let me get you another example. Oh, so here's a little street that I added using your asset. So right now I'm using a mesh collider. I don't think I can't think of a way to use primitives for something like here where you have a curve. I don't know. Maybe I could use rate set of points. Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of settings to play around with. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I shouldn't say pretty sure. I think I can come up with a straight 90-degree street corner, which would allow me to use primitive box colliders. But it would be nice if something like that is included in the asset. But of course, you don't have to listen to me. I'm just giving you my opinion here. Yeah, Sherman says mesh colliders are expensive. Perhaps two plane colliders could work well. Yeah, I'm experimenting with a lot of different things. So I'm reasonably certain I can still make this work. But again, I'm just saying it would be nice if there's something like a 90-degree angle sidewalk or I don't know, if this were more modular. For example, if I could use this and this, and combine it to form a corner myself or whatever else that I want. Anyways, Mad, welcome. Okay. Thanks, Sherman. I'll read the email after the stream. I mean, unless you don't mind me opening it here during live stream. But thanks for coming. I hope you drop by often, and we can talk about game dev and other stuff. Anything else regarding game dev, whether it is about game dev or not, I'll be happy to talk. And back to what I was saying with the HDRP. Oh, before I talk about HDRP, let me give a little shout out to Sherman and his asset. Yes. I believe I searched for Japan. I'm not sure. Guess it's not here. Because I really like the Asian cyberpunk-ish city kind of look. Oh wait, this was one of the... Huh, why is it not there anymore? Oh yeah, get a Sherman tank. Where's the Japanese street? Can't find it anymore. What the hell? Can't find it. Where is it? Why can't I find the asset? Should I say Japanese street? Be a little more specific. Alright, let me look at the actual name. Why is it not there anymore? Oh, Japanese city? Okay. Not street, Japanese city. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, I really like this look. So Asian city streets tend to have this extremely tight alleys with lots of stuff in it. Almost makes you feel claustrophobic, which I've pretty much felt all my life. I deal with anxiety issues. I'm not sure if if the street themselves got anything to do with it, but I guess it's also my upbringing. But I really like this. What is this? I haven't seen this one. But yeah, I really like this Asian street look. So this was another asset that I was really interested in, but for some reason I didn't buy it. Sherman says, I'm glad you like the asset. I spent many months on the project and spent hours looking at city reference, dissecting the architecture. Yeah, it takes a long time. Yeah, game dev takes a lot of work. John says lighting looks awesome and on point with the sky system. Unless you have the product on hidden since you purchased it. Okay, I have no idea how Unity search works, but so it looks like Japanese city is the keyword for the asset that I am using. Yeah. By the way, guys, the car in this sushi store is not part of the asset. The car is free. What was it called? There's so many assets that I've downloaded over the years. But the car is free. This one was close to a scam. This is not from Sherman. This one is from... I don't even mention the author's name because he's so scammy. But I had to do a lot of work to get this. So right now I have four different assets. Well, not just four. 5 including Odin. A bunch of assets. But the buildings and the streets are from Sherman's assets. Anyways, I gotta get back to HDRP. The original question I started out with. So it looks like by default, if you download or if you open up an HDRP project, this is the sample scene. I'm sure there's a... Where's the post-processing? Like all this shiny stuff, I'm pretty sure it's coming from post-processing. Where is it? Where's the post-processing for this? Anyways, again, by default, HDRP, you can get this look. But it takes a long time to figure out all the little gizmos and settings and all that stuff. Game developer says, guys, I want to know how much money costs to build or buy a good PC to make high graphics game like this. Well, okay. In building a game doesn't require you to have a high-end PC. Playing the game does. Obviously, when you're playing it, you want to run it at something like 240 frames per second. I think that's like the optimal frame rate these days. I used to go for 120 frames, but today you have monitors that can render a lot faster. So playing definitely requires a lot more money if you want that silky smoothness. But when you're developing, you don't necessarily have to run it at 200 frames per second if you're developing. Like if you're developing, 30 frames can do the job. But John Douglas is around $2 to $3K probably. Yeah, I would say so. But graphics cards are a lot more expensive today. So let me do a little bit of a search. there is a Korean vendor that I kind of like. And converting Korean won to dollars is really easy. You just gotta delete 3 zeros. So let me just look this up right now. And obviously this depends on how you define a good PC. So this is around $5,000. It's really high end. Probably got the latest GPU, RTX 3090. I'm not sure if that's the latest one, but GPUs are really expensive today. Also got custom water cool system. But from this vendor, the highest price is around 5K, but there's 4K, 2K-ish. Yeah, so I definitely agree with John Douglas when he says around 2 to 3K. So this is 3K-ish, GTX 3080. These are all decent machines. You can definitely run most games with these. Around $3,000. And this is not including the monitor. When you have a monitor that renders, that's got like over 200 hertz, those monitors are also expensive. And if it does 4K, so PC alone definitely around 2 to 3K. I would go up to 4K. Monitors themselves would also be pretty expensive. But yeah, not that cheap. Imaginius says, can we change an existing scene with a normal lighting to an HDRP? I need to test this. Normal lighting? Are you asking, can I do it right now from the default settings to something like this? I'm not sure what you're asking, so give me a few more details. John Douglas says, man, I wish I can get used to HDRP, just can't let URP go. Yeah. A lot of the assets are still based on URP or built-in render pipeline. So I'm not sure if you've seen my my latest devlog video. So this is in the traditional built-in render pipeline. I think a lot of people like this as well. I didn't go with the dark scene with this because things like volumetric lighting, subtlety in shadows, those are really hard to achieve with URP. But I think this still looks really good. At least good enough for me to post it, I guess. But the reason why I switched to HDRP, I haven't made a devlog video explaining it yet, but HDRP has just more settings, more details for you to play around with. But if you're just doing a daylight scene like this, you can get away with a lot of things with URP. Yeah, game developers is good luck. Roundbeargames, thanks. Imaginius is, I mean, when you create a new 3D scene from Hub. Yeah. Goodbye, game developer. Good luck with your projects, with your game dev endeavor, and have a good day. Imaginia, I'm not sure, even if I do it right now, I'm not sure if it's going to have any value. Because there's a lot of settings and I go back and forth hundreds of times. John says, the price I based on is you have to build it from scratch, not main, so you gotta wait for the parts and stuff, which takes a while, especially GPU. Yeah, if you get all the parts yourself and build it, it's generally cheaper that way, slightly. But you have to wait, you have to build it yourself, it takes time. And GPUs are expensive as fuck today. I haven't bought a computer in a while, just because GPUs are so expensive because of all the Bitcoin mining and stuff. I'm just not buying a GPU right now. I think they're overpriced. Maybe they're not. But let me just start playing around with this. So I'm going to create a new scene. Maybe I should go with basic indoors. I think people are more concerned about the dark lighting with a lot of glowing stuff in them, or shiny stuff. So this is the default indoor scene in an HDRP project. So we've got the volume. So these are the default volume settings. Oh, and by default, post-processing is there for HDRP. So most likely you're not going to build for mobile games. You're probably not going to build an HDRP project for mobile. I have not seen the latest hardware for mobile devices, but I'm pretty sure you cannot run this. You need a decent PC for stuff like this. So let me try creating a cube. So right now this is the spotlight is the only light source. And that's because this is called an indoor scene, and we can move this around. Oh, it looks like there's a floor here. Interesting. Let me back this up. Where's the... Right, I want to see the entire floor. John Douglas is precisely, but you also have to remember your target platform as well as high-end users. Yeah, you really want to be mindful of who you're targeting and what machine you're targeting. I think that's pretty common sense. John says, I did see that video. It looks good, by the way. Thank you. And I'm spending a lot of time going from this to back, well, not back, to HDRP. It's taking a long time. Just change all the models, not the models, all the materials, all the settings. The cameras were completely different. The post-processing was completely different. So, you know, depending on your game, might not be worth it. It might be. You have to look at it case by case. So right now we've got nothing but the cube and the spotlight. Let me try adding a green emissive lighting. So right now it's not emissive at all. Let me start using 1000, and already, and this is just by default. I'm only using the default assets that are provided by Unity, and already we have something that is extremely difficult to do in URP or BRP. Maybe this is a little too much. $500, $50, $20. Dark gray floor. Let me make this dark. And I can also make this metallic or not. This changes how light is reflected. So if I do this, it reflects the spotlight in a different way. And theoretically, you can express almost any kind of material with this. Theoretically, I say that because it's really hard replicating an actual physical material that exists in real life. And you can also get light sources from the emissive lighting. If you bake this, Let me try baking this. It looks like we don't even have an environment right now. Let me try baking this. And let me lower this. I'm not sure how long this is gonna take. So when you bake, usually during runtime, it's almost impossible to calculate every light source and render it nicely on a surface. When you bake, you're doing that before the runtime, before the actual game runs, and you turn that into a texture, put it onto non-moving objects, so that you have more graphical fidelity, and you don't have to calculate it during gameplay. So right now it's just a shiny cube and some reflective floor. So baking barely makes any difference. But if I wait, what the hell? Oh, I forgot to so they have to be static. And this also has to be mixed or baked, depending on what you want. Most of the time, I'm using mixed lighting because the character you cannot bake the character shadows onto the textures. That's just not gonna work. Characters moving all the time, so sort of for the character, the shadows you want real time, but for all the non-moving objects, you can do static and bake the lighting onto the textures, so you don't have to do it during runtime. John says, out of curiosity, since I noticed your devlogs are FPS, can I know what sort of controller do you use and why? I'm kind of stuck between figuring out which between two rigid body or DC. Oh, character controller, I guess. Okay, so when you refer to controller, I'm guessing you're referring to some sort of a character controller script. I'm using rigid body physics right now. Let me talk about this just for a second. So there's a video where I talk about rigid body 2D character control. So the character controller that I'm using here is the exact same character controller. Well, I can't play this right now, but in my FPS game. You might be wondering how, but it's the same code. The only difference is that this is fixed on a single axis. I'm just adding one more axis, which is Z. So, and this is open source. I think I made it open source. So let me look at this. Yeah, this is completely open, except for the art. Let me see if I can find the code. Holy shit, this. Some sort of a controller. Probably can't find it right now, but actually I'll find it here. Forgot where my character controller was. I mean, there's so much stuff. I just write my code and sometimes I just forget about it. Oh, FPS character, is this it? But to give you a short answer, I'm using rigid body physics that is described in this video, the exact same code, except it's in 3D. For FPS look, the FPS first person look. Oh, this isn't my code. I'm just using my own code to move around the camera. I hope that answers your question. Where's my character controller? I can't find it. It's been too long. I wrote that character controller a long time ago, and I'm just using it everywhere in my game. Let me look for it. I'm sorry. Can't even find it. It might be here. Let me just play the game and find it that way. The baking should be done. What the? Okay. Why is it not burnt into the Oh, it is. You can sort of see it. Anyways, let me try to... Oh! Theme! Okay, so it is baked. So you can see the green lighting that is burnt into the floor here. And I can do that because... just because the floor's not going to be moving. So baking becomes really important when you want to express the details. Let me also add some sky lighting. Hold on. Come on. Alright, I'm falling because don't have the floor there. So we've got the stage controller, there we go. FPS controller. FPS movement. Oh, and for FPS rotation, the first person view, I'm just using my own code here. I want to get to the part where I'm using the rigid body physics. Why can't I find it? It's a little weird. This is about to dummy. Pretty sure it's got something to do with on collision enter. So I'll look for that. Or on collision stay. Guess this is it. Oh, there we go. Finally found it. Collisions. Yeah, so I have a code called collisions, and you can probably find this here as well. It's the same code. Yep, collisions. So this is pretty much the center of all my movements. If I look at the actual code, this is pretty much the centerpiece. Get collision type. Collision type meaning is a collision coming from the bottom, the top part, left or right. And obviously this is going to differ slightly depending on whether it's a 2D game or 3D game or what your game design is. I'm using the dot product to get the exact, or to as accurate as I can, to determining where the collision is coming from. I even forgot the dot concept, but so let's say if you have a box collider and the collision is coming from here, you can get, well, there's a lot of different ways, but you can get the position from the center to the collision point. And when you get when you use something like dot products or whatever you use regarding the vectors, you can clearly tell the difference between this vector and this vector or this vector. These are all different vectors. The only problem is right here, but this is extremely rare. This is like 1 pixel precision, so I don't even care. So you're always determining whether it's this vector or this vector or this vector, or you could also draw vectors something like here or here. This just depends on your understanding of 3D space and geometry. And Unity Rigid Body works in a way that you can almost treat it like physical actual object. So the box is not gonna go through another box if you have the settings right. So this is always going to be the case. Now it's just up to you to determine what you want to do after you detect collision. And this is a centerpiece that gives you that data, and you make your decision based on it. What about the font? I mean, it's been a while. I mean, I make these settings once, and I completely forget about them. So in consolata, semi-condensed. So that's pretty much my character controller in a nutshell. And Imaginia, let me know if you still want me to do this thing. So this is pretty much the building block of the scene here. So pretty much everything is based on this basic settings. So let me see. So this is the same emissive lighting that's used here. We also have the spotlight here from the lamp. So spotlight is coming from here. And I have another emissive material, I think, here. Coming from the lamp, or oh, this is from the asset. I believe the asset has the texture has emissive data. Yeah. So this, certain parts of the lamp is going to be emissive. So if I replicate this, let me create another. Let me just use a box here, and this could be called lamp, and I'll call it lamp shiny. Call it whatever you want. I'll make this yellow. This one I'll make 1,000. 1,000 might be too much. 100. So I want to bring this, and this is a little trick. I mean, this isn't really recommended by Unity or anything. I'm gonna put this near the spotlight. Actually, I'm gonna put the spotlight at the lamp. So it kind of looks like the lighting is coming from the shiny object. And obviously you don't want, if this is where a street lamp, you want this side to be dark. So, I mean, to replicate that, I might have another object. Oops, you don't want to cover it completely. Right, so if I do something like this, so from the top, that part is blocked. Let me make this bigger. And let me make this the same as the dark gray floor. So from this side, everything is completely dark. You don't see the light source because it's blocked. From here, you see the shiny lamp plus the light source. And you can change this. Let me also make this might be a little too much light. Something like that. Right? Already it's looking kind of interesting, at least to me. Let me play around with this. Right? Now, so we also got the shadow here. Let me try baking this. See what happens. Oh, and let me finish this off by adding an HDRI sky. Let me do that. And then this will be done. So if I remove it, what the hell? Again, I go back and forth. I think this got to be static. Let me also look at the lighting settings. And usually when you want maximum graphical fidelity, baking takes a long time. I just lowered the numbers just to make it quick. But this could look even better, depending on how you change the settings. What the hell? Oh, this... What the... I mean, I'm missing something here, but... What am I missing? It might be this. Only in there. Okay. But I hope we get the point. Radiant sky. But what if I want an HDRI sky? I mean, I don't have a sky right now. Maybe. Try this. Just gonna copy paste this in there. Cube. Now we've got, oh shoot, that's now we got light coming from the sky, I think. Exposure might be there we go. Now we got the sky. Now it looks really interesting because out of the texture. Let me make this dark. Let me also add some fog here just to give you some volumetric lighting. So already this is looking pretty nice. There's some fog. Get some volumetric lighting. Where's bloom? I want some bloom. I'm changing all these different settings. Scatter. Where's the fog? think fog is a little too much. Yeah, I want to be able to see the sky. Yeah, this looks interesting already. Look at this thing. We got some volumetric lighting. We got the dark sky. Let me show you something a little more interesting. Enable distortion. Scroll speed 5. And if I play this, the sky is moving. The clouds are moving. The moving clouds I really like. I don't have it for my game because this is just blue. But there's a lot of interesting stuff you can do. Let's see. Scroll speed 10. Let me make it really obvious. There we go. Look at this. Pretty interesting. So already you have all the building blocks that you could use to build something like this, or could be anything really. I just like this dusk kind of look. This might be a little too dark, but I came up with this just now. Maybe a little lighter, right? Yeah, I like this. I think this light is a little too much. Maybe 20. Make the lamp smaller. Nah. Yeah, already this is looking pretty good. Oh yeah, Imaginius' depth of field also may also look nice with some bokeh in the background. Yeah, let's try adding depth of field. I mean, usually for a game that runs real time, I mean, usually for an FPS game, I mean, there's nothing to focus on. There's just one thing here. So, yeah. This is completely out of focus, but I mean, if something were behind with some light source, and I focus on the front and the back part gets fuzzy, you get an interesting look. I really used to like doing that with a 2.5D platformer. Let me give you an example. So this might be, this is a really old example, but here you can see that the video quality also isn't that good, but yeah, so you focus on the front. This is not a very nice example. Let me look at this. Or this. Okay, this might be a better example. Yeah, so you focus here, and the backside is sort of blurred. I really like this, and I really enjoyed making a 2.5D platformer a few years ago. And hopefully yeah, you also see volumetric lighting and the emissive lighting. You have a bunch of light sources in the back with depth of field. I really like doing this with HDRP. I believe this is HDRP. Let me also check out. Yeah, so this is a very similar look. In regards to everything that I'm doing now. So And I believe this is open source. I also have a repository for this. But this is really old. This is not a very nice example. So there's a lot of interesting stuff you can do with HDRP. So I hope that this whole thing answers your question. This is completely random, but I really like this. Look at this thing. It looks like some sort of a scene from a Diablo storyline sort of thing. You've got, I don't know, looks like a boss scene. And let me look at other examples, not just mine, because there's a lot. Yeah, you can get photorealistic. This is an example from Unity themselves, I believe. Yeah, this is really old, and it's scriptable render pipeline, which is slightly different. So there's a lot of different things you can do with HDRP. I'm not a huge fan of going completely photorealistic. I like a slightly more cartoony look. This might be a little too photorealistic for me. This looks really nice. I believe this is from Brackeys. What is this? Look at this. You probably can't turn this into a game. This is way too high settings for you to run it at high frames per second. Whoa, is this HDRP? Why isn't it loading? Oh, looks like this is HDRP. Yeah, you can do a lot of interesting things. And this is not the look I'm going for, but this looks really good. This looks like a commercial. Yeah, anti-aliasing, extra filtering. There's so many settings. You got different light settings, shadows. Oh, it's just so much work. But if you're committed, you can get it done and come up with something that might be interesting to you. Oh, one more. There's a YouTuber that I kind of enjoy watching. You Gurus, I think. Yeah, this guy. This guy also likes HDRP, I think. He does a lot of HDRP lighting. His recent videos are URP, but the video that I really liked was... It's an old video. Yeah, this. Is it this? I really like this because here, you're just using basic shapes. Nothing but basic textures. But at the end, with just lighting and... Here, it looks so much better. And this is just lighting. Compare this. Where's the basic settings? Yeah, look at the difference with all the... Oh, here he's got a difference right here, right? Same materials, probably same textures, same models, different post-processing, and you get a completely different look. So I like this video. The problem I have with this guy is that he does a complete overkill. Like, let me see if I can actually find the numbers that he's using. But he does a complete overkill with his with the settings that gives you the final look of this, the final render, which makes it probably not suitable for a high performant game. So you can just do a complete overkill with this and probably come up with oh, I think I closed it, but remember the card that I just showed you? You can do that, but that's obviously not a game. This is probably not that suited for most PCs. But again, there's a lot of different things you can do with the with HDRP, and it's mostly up to you to, you know, play around with it and figure something out. So this is another channel that I like, but don't do an overkill like this guy. But I really like his approach to lighting, where he's using, for example, simple shapes. Oh, don't show me an ad right now. So he's using simple shapes like this, and without any of the lighting settings, this looks like a 90s game. But once you start applying all this interesting lighting and settings, I think this is raycasting, yeah. So. And I pretty much follow the same philosophy, if you can call it a philosophy. This is just, I'm just using one Unity asset here, one Unity asset here, another here. I'm not really concerned about the details in regards to modeling or textures. I'm much more concerned about the details regarding the lighting here, the sky, the ambient lighting, the shadows. Those things are the things that make your game look good. You could have a cartoony shader while having a completely realistic lighting, which makes your game look really nice. I think Overwatch is kind of like that. Even though I hate the Overwatch today, when it came out, it looked pretty good. So this is all cartoony, but if you check out the lighting and the shadows and everything, the lighting and the shadows are realistic, but not the textures or the character models or the VFX, which gives you a really unique look. And obviously, I'm just generalizing here. There's a lot more going on when you're talking about a AAA game, but I hope you get my point. And let me add that today I completely hate Overwatch and Blizzard. Wow, so I've been talking for almost an hour now. More than an hour, I think. But maybe I should bring back the ground. Just so I can play this. So even though I didn't get any work done this stream, I find a lot. I think there's a lot of value in just interacting with the people that are watching your videos. So right now the car's just floating there. Everything's floating. Oh. Oh, another thing that I really like, by fire into the sky. This sort of looks like tracer rounds, but everything's over dramatized in a video game. So I hope I answered all of your questions. If you have more, you can always reach me on my Discord server. But I do try. Hold on. And Imagineer says, what library are you using for creating a network game? I'm using something called Face Punch. So I'm using it in this video in pretty much all my games today. Oh no, don't give me an ad. So here's a network video that I posted. Yeah, all the links are there. Face Punch. Face Punch is a Steamworks C# implementation of Steamworks. Yeah. So I'm using this to connect to Steam network and send and receive data between Steam clients. So I have to have Steam on for all my games, and I'm planning to launch on Steam, so this is not an issue. So this is what I'm using. If you're asking about stuff like Unity assets or something like Mirror or Photon, that's a pretty much a complete solution to network synchronizing. I'm not using it, I'm just using my own code. Let me see if I can find that code. Been a while. All right. Let me see if I can find the actual code. There we go. So this is part of the handshake between two clients. I say hello. I mean, the function is called hello, but I'm just sending a blank message. I'm sending a byte packet, write it, send it over the Steam network. The other guy has a Steam ID. Everybody's got a Steam ID associated with your Steam account. And that's it. And what you send and what you do when you receive a message, you know, that from there it's up to you. Yeah, Face Punch is free. Steamworks is free. Steam is free. Well, Steam, I think you gotta have like a $5 purchase. It's almost free, right? So, I mean, you just gotta write your own code, which is not free. Time isn't free. The thing I don't like about stuff like Mirror or Photon, I mean, you have to pay for it, and servers are expensive, especially if you want to scale. I mean, I'm not scaling at the moment, but it's hypothetical. But you know, it does get expensive later on. So, and I like writing my own stuff. Oh, and they don't have servers in Korea. I think most of their servers are in North America, I believe. Not exactly sure. But last time I checked, they only had a couple server locations which were really, really far away from me. So those are not an option. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna end my stream now. I do plan on streaming every day. I'll try at least. I mean, if I'm not streaming at this hour, most likely I'm busy doing something, or I might be sick, or I might have some personal issues, or you know, other than that, I'm probably going to be streaming every day at this hour. So you're more than welcome to ask questions or comment. You can also find me on my Discord server. I think all the links are there in every video I put up. I try. Yeah, all the links are there, including my Discord, my repositories. For something like this, I cannot make public because it's completely filled with many different Unity assets that I do not own. But if I do own something, I'm going to make it 100% transparent and public. So if you're interested, you can check it out. And thanks for coming, guys. I hope you have a great day. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.